Okay, I think this is the second review for you guys, if you just correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's the second one.
And you guys are doing the complaint for contempt. Are you going to share your screen? And as I said, Eleni is otherwise occupied with her internship today, so it's going to be over to James and Jason.
Yep, I'll share my screen. All right, is it showing up?
Oh, so you've already got that code snippet in.
What? Oh, the ask the court?
Good job.
Well, we didn't do that. It just automatically.
What?
Well, you had to add it, or it wouldn't look like that, I don't think.
Was it the basic question? Did we update the basic questions?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just noticed it this morning that it's now.
It might have a default of using the interview name.
I think that's what we decided when we implemented the default.
Ah.
Okay, got it.
So that means even if people don't put the code in, the default is ask the court for form name. Is that how it works?
I suspect so. Quentin would actually be able to answer the question. I'm just guessing.
Well, we can hit source and we'll find out.
Yeah, you can just go to your playground and see. But
anyway,
I
think for now we'll review the interview.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's go. Let's see what you guys have done. Could you just flag where you've changed stuff as well, please?
Yeah, we'll do. All right, so yeah, this is the same. Then yeah, we moved the name of the opposing party up to the first thing. So, and then so I tried following the advice to remove the option to add another defendant. I got rid of that and add another complaint. However, this still has some work out some errors in it, because if you click it, it just on the same screen starts you over.
Okay.
So I'll need to might need to meet with somebody or just post something in the code channel to figure out how to get that working properly.
Are you trying to? Is it defendants that you're trying to do, or is it more than one complaint for contempt?
I think it was my understanding based on the last demo that we shouldn't be adding two opposing parties on the same complaint for contempt. It should be instead an option to file a additional complaint.
Okay.
Seems I could see courts reject. I don't know that they will reject it, but I could definitely see that. I think the safest thing to do would be to do two separate complaints for contempt. I could definitely see courts rejecting it, putting two defendants on the same.
Right. Yeah. So we talked about that. So Kate, is this what you're thinking? Is that so? In the end, basically, you have more defense. You're gonna so within one interview, you'd have multiple defendant. I mean, multiple defendants and multiple complaints, but the issue is the same.
So
I could kind of see that.
So I'm going to try and clarify just to make sure that I have it straight. We're talking about the two choices here. One is to have them fill out multiple forms completely, so multiple interviews. The other is to have them fill out a list of defendants and give them a form for a piece of paper for each defendant that copies the information.
Yeah.
So which one is it that we are?
I think it's the latter, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, which tries to the individual defendants wrongful conduct.
Okay.
Seems a little bit. I'm not sure that it's the best approach to just copy paste. Because it really is individualized.
So you need a separate question for them and the complaint you have against them.
Yeah, what they did wrong,
but still in the same interview.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be the same. I haven't seen how the rest of the interview goes, so I can't really.
Yeah, I think maybe this might need a substantive review outside of today.
So if you make an issue on GitHub, just outlining kind of the details of what we the different options we presented. If you folks decide on what it is, I can help implement that. I can help make that possible, I believe.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
think it would be a good idea to talk through exactly what, you know, what we want to have happen. And Kate, I think you probably ought to be,
Yeah, because I definitely thought it was just gonna be like, you can only do one, and then if you want to do another, you do another interview from scratch. But
yeah, I
Um,
mean,
What the MVP
I'm not
is,
saying that
that's a
this
good
this could
question.
work. I just haven't seen. I haven't seen it.
yeah,
Yeah, we probably want to focus on MVP just because,
Okay.
well, people are going to disappear.
right.
A
I
lot
mean,
of people are going to disappear.
so maybe it makes sense for MVP to do one complaint with one defendant, and
And just say that
then
you
think
can do.
about how we could make that a better interview next time around. And so basically, if there were more than one defendant, then you'd have to start the interview again and do a new complaint, just for MVP. Does that?
So I think just some wording about how to explain that to the user for MVP.
Yeah.
Is that something you feel confident coming up with, or?
I mean, I think it says if you want to bring a complaint against a different defendant, do the interview again. It's something as simple as that.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Kate, maybe, I mean, I can talk to you about it because I think, first of all, we think about in which circumstances could there possibly be more than one defendant?
Right, it's narrow. I mean,
Yeah,
it would be like
exactly. Yeah,
co-guardians or grandparents who together have denied visitation.
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing that comes to my mind. That's what made me think of the last time we looked at this. So maybe we should, outside of today, talk about what those circumstances might be, then recognize them, you know, in a screen and say, if there's more than one, for example, such and such, you have to do another complaint for, you know, just something like that.
So, but what I think is this button and everything looks good. So I would preserve this for post MVP and the way that I think. How would you suggest doing that?
Oh, well,
We
no, I
can-
mean, the thing is, maybe we do that, but I guess the thing is that in MVP, we want to acknowledge users who may be confused that they can't file a complaint against more than one defendant. So we need
Yeah.
some language in the current interview.
So
to
I think what
recognize
Maeve
that.
is saying is, how do we preserve what this currently looks like so we can come back and look at it in the future when we do want to implement that feature? I think this isn't quite the way to implement that feature,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure this will be useful.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah, I think that's right. Well, I mean, the thing is, as long as this is committed to GitHub, right? It could be a branch, and we could, you know, I mean, we could have this, and then we could return to this and have a look at how it started, and then see how we want to change it in the future. So I mean, it is preserved in GitHub, right? So
it's preserved in GitHub, and if we want, we can make a new branch, and I can show you because that's a slightly different procedure with
Yeah.
docassemble.
mhm.
So if we want, we can make a new branch just for it and then leave it behind and
Right.
come and have it as a reference. So
Yeah.
if you want that, let me know and we can go over that.
I think that's a good way to do it.
For now, I think then the action point would be to just remove that button and then add some further language that says, you know, this is the reason why you can't have more than one defendant. If you have more than one defendant, then
We'll talk about it.
start another complaint.
Yeah.
I also think this is a super narrow circumstance.
Yeah, it's unusual that would happen. But the grandparent
good.
visitation is the perfect example.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's
So
talk
we'll
about
fix with
details
language.
more later.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Maeve, when you say the action point, the first action point, I think, is, as Michelle is saying, is to create a new branch on GitHub, leave it behind, and then change it. The
Okay.
second action point is to change it.
Okay.
And make a GitHub issue explaining what our plans are. Do you guys, Jason, you understand the thing about making a GitHub issue? Do you understand what we're even talking about?
That we're just committing this to GitHub, right? And then that if we need Michelle's help with like making it a additional branch.
You do. You need my help making an additional branch.
Yeah.
All right.
And we can also cover this tomorrow in the meeting.
But also, Jason, the concept, what we're talking about.
Making
I
an
mean-
issue, she's asking specifically, do you know how to make a GitHub issue? Are you comfortable with it?
And what the issue,
No, I've not done that.
right. And what the
Tomorrow
issue should be,
it'll
the
come.
content of the issue. That's the other, I think that's the important thing too, is what the content of the issue is. Because it is
Yeah.
a bit like, we're throwing all this stuff around. You guys are just like, cats in the deer in the headlights. I don't know, right?
What was cats in the headlight?
Cats in headlights.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we
No cats and headlights.
cover this. We'll make sure to cover this kind of thing in the meeting tomorrow. So hopefully, if you have any questions after that, then you can always reach out. But hopefully, any questions can be preempted by that meeting. I'm just going to see if we can figure out a time right now.
Point is,
Me-
you've done good work. We're going to save it so we can go back to it, but we're going to do
Yeah.
something a little different now, just so that we can get something expediently out there.
Thank
Mia,
you, David.
Thank you,
Mia,
David.
was
That was good.
yeah, thank you. Mia, was there something that I was supposed to bring up that I forgot? I know I told you that there was something I was supposed
Yeah,
to bring up and I would
There
forget.
is.
No, Mia.
No, I know what
Okay.
it is.
Oh, what is it?
What is it?
Well, let her say first.
Is it the state's question?
I think what Caroline's thinking of is the question for Vinny, but he's not here.
No, that's a fun question. It's a different question. Go ahead and ask what it is, because if it's not what you think it is, I've got one too for
Right.
you.
Okay, then I have no idea.
Is this vital for the
I'm
demo?
very confused.
We were
I'm very
talking
confused.
we were talking early this morning and we were looking at the code and I was like, we should ask, if I don't bring this up in stand up, then you should bring this up. Okay, never mind. It'll
Okay,
come
this
up
is
some
one
other time.
issue. What the one issue I know of that I was supposed to bring up in Management Monday, but I think is important, is the kick out screen just says sorry at the top. And
Is
I
this
don't know
on
if
this
that's
interview,
something that
Caroline?
you know this morning, Michelle, but that's one thing that we talked about in the last review, but we didn't come to a decision, so we were going to talk about it in Management Monday. We didn't have time.
So, but it's just,
Okay.
maybe if they are kickout screens in this interview, then we can talk about it then a little bit. But perhaps for now,
Yeah.
I'll make a note of it to be talked about in the upcoming meeting. But for now, I think we just try and get through this interview. But I think I echo what David said. That this looks really good, and I think that it's important that we preserve it, but that we revert back to it for MVP going forward.
Sounds good.
All right. Cool. So yeah, this interview does have kick out screens.
Okay.
So yeah, we updated the since like we were adding the other party first. Now like the kick out screen 1 and 3 is personalized with the defendant's name. So then
Yeah.
yeah, if you answer no,
like that,
this
yeah.
is our kick out screen.
Okay, I like this.
And that's the same for all 3 of them. So that
Is
one
this what you had in mind, Caroline, or did you want something different?
Yeah, this is exactly what I said, is to actually name the people, make it more personalized. Yeah.
And then yeah, this is the 3rd and final kick out screen. All right, so this is where we have now, like where we ask for the user's name. That I don't know if there's a better spot for it, if it should be after the kick out screens, or should it be like the first thing?
This is
I
something that
vote
I
for
struggle with
first
as
thing.
well. So what did you say, Caroline?
It was you,
That was
3 of
me.
you were talking and I wasn't.
I said I vote for the first screen.
Okay, so where would it go?
Just feels weird like this.
randomly.
I
but I
think
also
it feels
struggle with
weird to
this.
put it at the end too. Yeah.
It's weird to ask the other side's name, but not yours.
And the thing
Well-
is, you can say, what is your name? And then you can say, Jason, what's the other side's name in your case? And so you can, as soon as you get their name, then you can address them, and then you're interacting with them. There is this principle of not asking people for intimate real information right up front. But on the other hand, the whole form is somewhat intimate information. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think name is different from, like, we're asking about your address and stuff. You just, as you
Yeah.
expressed, you can make it into the conversation. So you're now.
Yeah, you use it.
engage
If
with
you
the
use
person.
it right away, then people will understand why you're asking it.
Last name makes me personally nervous about private information, just FYI. So
Yeah, but
that
when you're filing a court form, it's not unsurprising to be asked your name.
true, especially if it's linked from the court, then
Yeah.
It has that authenticity.
I think it's going to have to happen sometime. And we've already expressed that these are things we're doing to file with the court. So
All
okay.
right, so yeah, I'll move the username to be the first screen, and then should we keep like the user like address, contact information kind of back here after the screeners
You can put those at the end.
yeah, we usually like to put that at the end.
at like the end of the entire interview?
Just
Or-
far enough
Yeah,
back
because
that
it's not so interesting.
Yeah.
Then yeah, this screen stayed the same. We updated the impoundment based on Mia sent us like the wording she used, like that has the more like active voice. So we just updated
Perfect.
that and then added the defendant's name here to make it more personalized.
Okay,
Perfect.
that looks really good.
Mhm.
This stayed the same.
Yeah, this will need to change. This is something that's
Just,
on the code still.
On
code.
that impound, I mean, I'll go through little teeny readability edits. You just want to take out the parentheses in the secret, around secret.
All right.
So should it just be motion to
I
impound?
think actually I would take out the keep secret altogether, because if the court's granted a motion to impound, you'll know that. You won't, if you don't know they've granted a motion to impound, you won't know they've kept it secret. You don't have to explain
Yeah.
what motion to impound
Yeah,
is.
because you had to file a motion called motion to impound to make
Yeah.
this happen.
Yeah, yeah. And it might even be confusing to say keep secret.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe capitalized motion to impound,
Yeah. Well,
because it's an actual, you said they had to file a motion, right? So might as well use its name, maybe put it in quotes.
it's not, because it is a motion to impound versus the motion to impound, you know, it's a little bit different. I think it's worth thinking about, and then maybe putting in there. I'm having difficulty articulating why in some cases you would, in some cases you wouldn't. But
Okay.
I think it's a good point. I think it wouldn't hurt to capitalize the M and the I. Let's maybe go with that now and take out.
Also, it's part of the sentence, though. It does say motion to impound your address in this case. So
Yeah,
it
so
would-
see, this point is it's a difference between a motion to impound, which is not a proper name.
And
Versus-
did the court grant your capital motion to impound?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Perfect, even though we're not supposed to do this, but did the court grant your capital M motion to capital I impound your address?
Is a motion to impound always about the address in the case as well?
No.
No, you can do the full file, or you can do anything from the file.
The
Yeah.
only, and I'm sorry to put a fly in this ointment, but if they didn't, is there a chance that they didn't submit a motion to impound, in which case they would be confused?
They could, well, the court can't grant it if they didn't file one.
I'm just saying, like, if I'm looking at this and it said, did the court grant my motion to impound? I'm like, well, I didn't do that. So do I need to do something to?
Oh, I see. Gotcha. You could do one of those little help things with a little bit more information. That's a good point.
Additionally, you could
When you say
probably
your, I think that's right, Michelle, especially when you say your,
Yeah.
then it does imply that you were supposed to have.
Yeah.
just a backwards thought. You could also say, instead of getting rid of keep secret, you can say, like, has the court granted something along the lines of, like, have they kept your address secret? And then in parentheses, motion to impound has been granted.
Well, I mean, you can also say, did the court impound your address in this case? Just like that. You don't have to say grant your motion to impound. Did they impound it? And then you don't know that maybe that, I don't think that means there was something you were supposed to do. That almost sounds like it happened automatically.
Mm.
I think that's
And
much clearer.
Yeah, and then people won't feel, it's shorter, it's better language, it's less ambiguous, less.
Sure.
So I think that might be a better way to do it.
Cool.
So I'll send that
So-
back.
I think that was that was a valid suggestion, though, from, I'm sorry, I didn't see the name. Not that the names were
What was-
voices. But I think that was a valid line of thought. I think just in this case, it doesn't quite get the idea across. Just wanted to appreciate the input other people are giving. Just saying.
Yeah.
So what did we settle on? What should we change it to?
Did the court impound your address?
All right.
In this case, I think you want to keep
In this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or for this case? All right. In this case.
in this case.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Should case be capitalized
No.
to make it clear that it's a case? Okay.
No.
Legal case. All right.
Okay, so this is, yeah. Gonna
So
be,
this is something that would be great to capture in an issue, for example. Like that this question was asked, like, you know, put this question on there and then describe the answer, right?
Wait, are we doing anything with this
No.
page or? Oh.
Perfect.
All right. Then we added like sort of the do you have any children question to, and there's a follow-up, which we have to do some work on it. So we ask, like, if you click yes, then it asks you how many children you have. And if it's one, when we say like, instead of like the child parentheses REN, it'll just say child.
okay,
Well, if you click 2+, it says children.
okay.
But we haven't kind of figured out what we should do. Like if they say no, like how do we just like get rid of all mentions of childs in the rest of the like interview? Should we? I'm not sure if that's the way we should approach it.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 All right, cool.
This seems a bit of a weird question to me. It might, because it's not going to appear on the form. So if I'm like, it just, I don't know what to do about that. But I
You
would
can
suggest.
say- You could ask if they have children, and in the same question, how many?
Do you have, how many, or do you have more than one child?
So could it be, just thinking
How
logically,
many
like, could
might
we
be
have it
the-
as a show if, like, do you have
How many?
children? Yes,
Yeah, I
no.
think we do you have children to show off how many?
Yeah,
You
I
don't want
think
to
that
say, do you
makes
have
sense.
more than one child? Because if you have 0, you can't really answer that question if you don't have children.
Well, but if it's a show if, then it wouldn't matter. But I like your idea anyway.
So
I
is
like
this
I
taking
like getting
away?
the number of children.
Is this taking away all the child? This is taking away all the child-related questions subsequently. Because what if this is like a guardianship or a grandparent visitation case?
Oh,
where
instead
they
of your
don't have
own children. So
children.
maybe the question should be about children in the case.
Yeah.
Involve children?
So you're
Or-
saying, hey, does this case involve children?
I don't know, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it could be like the grandparents without, who,
Yeah,
it's not their children, but they could be bringing contempt
good
for
point. Yeah.
something.
So then would it look like, okay, does this case involve children? And it will be a yes, no radio button with yes, then having a show if with a number of saying how many.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be some back end stuff to say if it's more than one.
I do
Yeah.
want to say that show if is something that can trip up a lot of interviews. So we want to make sure that this is actually an MVP feature. So if child's with parentheses children is sufficient for MVP, then
I think I understand what you're saying, Michelle. I don't think it's that complicated.
you would be surprised.
If Caroline's offering, I'm hearing Caroline offer to help.
Yeah, I'm
so
offering to help with
thank you,
that. because
Caroline.
I hate
Great.
the child, children in parentheses.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
Jason
Thank
and
you.
James, you guys know who to go to when it's the middle
Yeah,
of the night.
come
and-
to me with the show if stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
So now this should show children, right? In all the remaining questions.
And ask children questions as well.
And we just want to be careful about any contingent language being at the sentence level as opposed to
Yeah,
the,
word
Did you-
level.
Jason, you know what we're talking about there?
No, we
So-
haven't gone over translation.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can do it. That's okay. I'm doing it. I'll do
All right.
it. I understand it. I'll do it.
Okay.
So should it, how does it look? Should it be children? Are there any?
No, it's just that it's no. It's we're talking about in the future if we then reference back to child or children. We don't want to get too clever by half and have it be that you and your child or you and your children, where that
Sorry.
word is a variable
I was
that
wondering
changes.
where you went there, Jason.
Yeah, my internet just like froze.
Okay.
It's
so,
not important to get into the weeds here though, because Caroline is
Okay.
gonna.
Caroline,
she's
so you're
got it.
noting the translation
Yeah.
issues and we'll remedy them.
Yeah, I get it.
there
I
are
get it.
ways to write codes so that it is easier to translate, and we're trying to make that happen.
Include that while we're here, so we don't have to go back. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
All right, so let's hope this works now.
I
Wait,
forgot. Are we just remember?
Somebody
Is
just got
Jason
booted back
Swadel
a
the other
little bit.
party?
Sorry?
What about other party?
Are you the other party, Jason?
Yeah, I'm the other party. I
Okay.
think it just Wait, no, yeah, never mind. I got a little confused for a second. So yeah, this stayed the same. All right.
Okay.
Now here, yeah, we ask. I think
All right.
we updated the wording based on what we were told with the title, but everything in this paragraph remained the same.
I'm not sure. This might be a plain language review, and I think that I think that paragraphs here would be good. But can we, Caroline, could you flag this as something for plain language?
Yeah.
And can the team make an issue for it?
The Jason's team.
Well, can you guys
Yeah.
note that you need to make an issue for it? So once you learn how to do issues tomorrow, we can then.
Yes.
That can be your first
That's
one.
cool, because you guys will have a list of issues for tomorrow, which is always nice. And then Michelle can say, "Oh, here, make an issue," and you'll
Yeah.
say, "Oh, we've got this issue. Copy and paste."
Yeah. You would have
Alright.
to construct it on screen.
Yeah, we can make sure to do that.
Okay.
Of course, you guys know the definition of civil is not criminal.
That's like, I think, a Caroline joke. Okay. You would have killed it in law school, Caroline.
I think if you put criminal first, it's easier because then they
I
don't
think we're
have
getting
to
into
go
the
back
plain
and
language,
say,
though. I think
okay, yeah,
it's
okay.
not. Okay.
I just think it's the funniest thing in the world that that's the definition of civil.
Dinner party for Caroline, a hoot.
All right,
Alright.
so we broke up the paragraphs on this page and then we bolded like we were told to for judgment and order.
The only thing that I'm noticing here is that it's still referring to defendant, whereas it should
Mm.
be the name of the just that variable in there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this looks good, and I think that with the bold, it looks really nice. It's much clearer to see.
So yeah, then this stayed the same. So then this is where we added like check boxes to ask like what kind of contempt do they need, and then based on like, yeah, if you click only the ones you click, you'll get like the subsequent questions, and everything else just will stay blank for the interview.
Okay.
I don't know. I know this is kind of language, but I feel like the title of this question might be better. Like, what
Complaint.
issues is this
Yeah.
contempt about? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not really, the kinds of contempt are, it's not, they're not kinds of contempt.
No.
Contempt
We'll
of X.
work on. I think you're right. I think we do have to work on this.
Like,
Like,
what
can we
is
just
this
flag
contempt
what
about,
Kate's-
I would say.
Jason and James,
just
could you just
flag it,
comment? Yeah, could you just comment on what? Oh, just make a note of what Kate said. Because I think that's good. So, what did you say again, Kate?
I would say, what is this contempt about?
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, Caroline, is that?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd do that. I'd have to go back to the question.
Okay.
I think it's this question
we-
before.
I've
So
opened
what,
up a
You flag
wormhole.
it
I'm
for
sorry.
language.
I thought it was going to be a simple one. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, but I think it will be. I mean, we would do something on it, but I think, Kate, it would be more like what
So-
you just asked.
Caroline,
What? You don't want me to
it's
say this
something
one
we'll
thing?
discuss later. Yeah, we'll discuss it as a language issue.
Okay.
But it's flagged as a language issue that we need to see. So, okay, so you're going to tick all of them so that we can see what happens.
All right.
All right, so then this is kind of the reworked alimony page, and like, yeah, see here, like it'd say child if we had selected one
Right.
child, and then we added the defendant's name into all the questions.
Okay,
Why-
so here, can I just hear? You've got, so it looks to me like questions 2 and 3, are those show ifs or no?
Yeah, they're show ifs.
Okay, so I think it was just as easy. I would actually skip the first radio button question
And
and
then
ask just the 2.
Second,
and then-
I second that.
all right, and just have it, yeah, like if they click alimony/child support on the previous page, it will fill in whatever this
Yeah, and
question
you're
If you're-
not gonna say slash, just for
If you're
refill.
familiar with check boxes, then you can just make check boxes for alimony and child support.
Mhm. Because that's right, you could do both. That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah,
But
better way to do it.
if that would be easier or more appropriate, but I think also radio buttons will work. I'm just saying that's possible. I shouldn't have said anything. That was a bad idea.
No, that's a good point, Michelle. Can you guys add that to your issue? Add that to your issue list.
True.
And your issues can be your to-do. That's right. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, right? Your to-do list.
That's what I like to think of issues as.
That is one purpose of the issues.
Yeah.
There are others. All right.
Yeah. No, but I meant
detailed in my message earlier.
So one of the reasons we're talking about this is so if people don't get through that we know what we're coming back to, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the thing here is to remove the first question, to have the others not be show if, and to change those into check boxes.
All right.
Okay.
Yep, we could do that.
Yeah.
All right. So then this page is the same as before, just ask weekly or monthly.
Again,
and
just
it's
the defendant there.
conditional. Sorry?
Sorry, I interrupted you. You've got defendant there. I just think it's just important to have consistency throughout with either using the variable or the name. Sorry, the variable or defendant.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you though. What were you saying?
I was saying, yeah, this is conditional based on the last page. So like when we had said to check boxes, if they don't click alimony or child support, this page won't show up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not sure how, this is probably a very rare circumstance, but like it's always possible that somebody had both child support and alimony and that they were on different frequencies.
Yeah.
I mean, really unlikely, because if somebody's rich enough to have both child support and alimony, they're probably not using this. They're probably using a lawyer, but you never know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
And the form is stupid because the form only gives one option. The form doesn't really allow for that.
Yeah.
So what I would do
But
is
the order does, right? I mean, you mean the contempt form?
Yeah, the contempt form. I guess you would check both.
You think about that, and
I think I would do is the child support ordered weekly or monthly? Is the alimony ordered weekly or monthly?
Yeah.
I think if somebody picks both, I think I would do both. Ask for each.
If I can suggest something, have both inputs on this page. So is the alimony weekly or is like alimony details weekly or monthly? How much?
Yes.
Child support details weekly or
Good
monthly?
idea.
How much?
so incorporate those two screens into one, basically, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Well, there'll still be two, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
2 questions with one screen. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, 2 questions on one screen.
Yeah.
And they would be, remember, and those would be, your question will be conditional on your frequency question as you have it now is conditional, but then the questions inside the frequency question are also conditional. So, right, so if they were ordered to pay either child support or alimony, then we ask about frequency, but we only ask about alimony frequency if they were ordered to pay alimony. And right.
Yeah, you only show the appropriate type of money. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, then we have we asked how much the weekly payments are, and if they clicked monthly, it'd be monthly instead of weekly.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah, and I think like Michelle was saying, combine that, do the child support frequency and how much together, alimony frequency and how much together.
And you can just say how much are the payments. You don't have because the interval will be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no there are not easy ways to do that, to change that on a page. Okay.
No, it makes sense too, because you don't think of them as removed. You say, how much is your child support? $80 a week. That's the way you think about it. So I think that makes sense to put on the screen. You guys, this is really good. I love
awesome
it. I do
stuff.
love it.
I mean, the kind of notes you're getting are like on a different level from like, the first go through, the second go through. It's really, or I mean, they're like, go ahead. Sorry.
In some, Michelle is saying good job.
Thanks. So I had a question for this one. Should we make this one, should this be just assumed if they're clicking alimony and child support, like the first question on the first alimony page?
Can you show I can't remember what the contempt looks like. Can you show the form?
Yeah.
Because if they're in contempt, they haven't been paying it. I assume that, does the contempt form ask for the amount? You wouldn't be asking if it doesn't, right?
Jason, just a heads up, you're only showing one of your screens, so we're not going to be able to see the PDF when you put it up.
Or put it, or he could put a link to it in the Slack.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
What can I do?
You could link to it in the Slack.
I'll just post in the.
Slack channel, yeah.
All right. Let me do that.
What's this, Caroline? Okay, we can see your screen now, just FYI.
All right. All right.
Don't say anything bad about us.
Okay, so what was your question, Caroline?
I just wanted to see the form,
Okay.
but I'll look it up.
No, we've got it. It's in the Slack now.
Oh, it is in the Slack. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, 3 at the end of the line. Oh, no, that's not. Oh, there it is. The overdue. 4, right? 4, line 2 or line 3. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Where are you? Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, we weren't sure if we should like get rid of this question and just have it like automatically, like the corresponding question filled in if they click alimony and child support back on the checkboxes page.
Oh, right, I see, because you're saying that if
they're in contempt, then they could automatically be overdue, right?
this is the complaint for contempt, so they're not necessarily in contempt prior to that.
Well, no, that's what your
Oh, they are.
complaint is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, maybe the court-ordered support is to pay weekly, and the defendant is just paying them not on a regular basis, and just giving them some, and then not giving them some, and then giving them some, which makes it really hard to budget or something. So I think you do have.
Yeah, I have actually seen that sort of contempt.
Yeah, so it's
what I would be hard pressed to want to bring for a client, but I've had clients want to bring that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would allow that option, and it could be about things like that.
Not make it be automatic. Yeah.
Okay, so would the question remain looking like this?
Yeah.
It could also be like form of payment, like maybe they're supposed to do direct deposit and they do something super inconvenient. I don't know. They pay in change.
But this, we don't want this question to be automatically answered, and we want it to be asked. I think that's right. Yeah.
Again, just flagging this as a nice thing that to put in an issue. So
All
flag
these
that.
things.
Yeah, we have it recorded, so
That's true.
All right. So then, yeah, if you select yes to this, then we have this subsequent page, just like how much does the defendant owe you?
So I'm wondering if it's necessary that, you know, the field to the left of the dollar sign, when it says how much does Jason Swadel, okay. How do you say?
Yeah, should we just get rid of this?
If it should just maybe just be amount owing or something like that?
I think, for these, again, I think we want to continue through the whole alimony and child support, because those are separate payments.
Yeah.
And they're paid separately, and the behaviors, they're just like completely different. So I think as you go through this, you want to split it up, but then you have to do the math at the end to put them together to go into the form.
I have a quick question. The questions about payment earlier, I don't remember if it said how much is the defendant supposed to pay you, or how much the defendant pays you?
I think
how much is the
remember the
order?
amount and frequency in the beginning. Remember those questions we're going to put all in one page?
Right, but it didn't say how much does the defendant, does it say, do the questions literally say how much the defendant pays you, or do they say how much has the defendant been ordered to pay you?
That's
Order,
a really
but-
good point.
How's that?
No, I can see that being ambiguous. Somebody saying how much are the weekly payments, being like, well, he pays me, they're 0 right now. He pays me 0.
Oh, I think you say ordered.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it says ordered because it's in the passive voice. And I noted that because what I want to do is change it to say how much did the court order so-and-so to pay. So I think the order is in the language.
No,
Awesome.
yeah, it's up right now. Right now it's
Okay.
how much are the weekly payments. So I agree.
Right.
That
Oh,
should
right.
be
Sorry,
fixed
that's
or edited.
So
Oh, yeah.
it should be what the court ordered. then.
Yeah,
Yeah, how much is the
definitely.
order for or something?
It should
Carol.
be. Maybe
Caroline
it's
will
the
do it.
frequency is that's ordered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
Yeah,
fault. Sorry. Good catch,
make that.
Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, so then, yeah, we'll get rid of or we'll change this right here.
Well, you're going to make that be 2, right? That's going to be
Yeah.
2, and one's just going to say alimony, and one's going to say child support conditionally, yeah?
Yep, yeah, I'll be the same as the other page of questions.
We could add some help text here that's like, you may be able to get this information from the Department of Revenue.
For DOR. I mean, for
Yeah.
child support, yeah.
Yeah. And alimony sometimes, but rarely.
DOR collects alimony?
I've never seen it, but I've heard they will. How about me?
So maybe a language question.
Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking.
Something like
So,
that.
just to keep it
Mhm.
Thanks, Kate.
real.
And I've also just copied that
Nice.
comment out from Caroline as well, and just put it in my notes. So if you guys need it afterwards, I've got it. Okay. Next
Alright.
screen.
So now, yeah, this goes in the parenting time, and I think should this be something that is automatic if they're clicking parenting time?
I don't know what else they could mean if they clicked parenting time, but
Yeah, I mean, if they clicked parenting time and if it's contempt and they're not following the parenting time order, then they've said that by the checkbox means this.
then again, this kind of does work towards as a transition to the new topic.
Mm.
Well, what's the next question? If you say yes, what's the next? Oh, then no, what if you say no? What's the next question? That's interesting.
I think you just move on, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
But then will the
yeah.
checkbox remain checked? Is there a checkbox? Let me have a look at the form again quickly.
No, as of now, this is this question here decides whether or not it's checked off.
Right, okay.
And the
Right. The earlier
checkbox page
checkboxes
is
show
just-
what comes up.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And then, yeah, I wasn't sure if it's good to maybe have questions like these just in case they accidentally click it.
That's a good catch.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't hate that you asked this again. I'm okay. I like it.
I don't
So then,
hate
yeah,
it either.
Or what you could do is say, you said so-and-so disobeyed the parenting time order. Or just go, so if they check it, say you said it, maybe think a little bit about that, because
Language
it's annoying
flag.
to check a box and then get asked the question again. That's really annoying. So maybe we can think a little bit about that structure, because I'm like, why did you ask me the first?
So that question would show up.
That it's unlikely that somebody's going to be filing a contempt in 6 different types of cases, right? I don't think that they're going to be. I mean, I'll leave that to you, Kate. I know some parents are just all over the place and never do anything.
When they go totally deadbeat, they usually mess up everything.
So I would say flag this as a language review more than anything else. And then
Language
also
and Kate.
And yeah, in terms of
because this is really a pattern of, this is about really information architecture or screen order or something like that. So
okay.
It
I mean,
just
I
means you
totally
can
get, Kate, that you think it should be included in case you forgot to check the checkbox. On the other hand, this would be a good reason to have a review, not for MVP, but this would be perfect for a review screen.
But I don't think that this won't show up if you don't check the checkbox. Is that correct?
In the review
Yeah.
screen, you can go back and say, here are the things that you're filing your contempt against. You know what I mean? Here are the kinds of orders that so-and-so didn't follow or broke or something like that.
Okay.
You know.
All right. So then, yeah, if you click
Either
yes,
that or you
then-
change it from checkboxes to these individual questions. That's the
Yeah.
other option.
yeah, so if you click yes, then we just go to the dates page and the users,
Right.
yeah.
Right away, I can see something Caroline. I'm liking Caroline's head. So instead of having dates of denied parenting time, I don't know if it should be date of denied parenting time with an add another option.
Well, it's kind of difficult. This is one of those family law questions, right? So people are like, if you don't have a date,
You can
if
say a
the data
roundabout.
type isn't a date, you could almost say Christmas, Thanksgiving, and such, or you
Okay.
can,
Okay.
and people don't, lots of times people aren't going to remember dates and they get stressed out when they have to look up dates. So I think, and it could be like the last 3 weeks, you know, you could put all kinds of things in
So-
there this way.
So
do
what
we
I'm saying
wanna
is perhaps we have an input, like we have one input with like a certain word of denied parenting time, but then add another option so that it's not the dates in bracket, like the
I think Michelle had a good, I can read Michelle's mind now since we're all reading
Okay.
people's mind.
Yes.
I think she had something I wanted to hear.
So I was going to suggest, when have you been denied parenting time? Or
Yes.
when, you know, what times have you been denied parenting time?
Well, and
Whether
somebody's
this
denying
year.
you the parenting time, right?
And that gets away from the dates and it allows you to say last week or over
Yeah.
Christmas or Thanksgiving, or put down dates. Because as it is now, dates does make it sort of imply like you want to write the dates, which
Yeah.
then gets us to like, let's just put them all down.
And then
I
you
like
can put a
Michelle's
little
bit.
bit of help text in about, you can put in dates or you can give some examples. But remember, you weren't just denied. It's not like God denied you parenting time, right? It didn't just happen. And you're filing a complaint of contempt against somebody who presumably wouldn't let you spend time with your children. That's what we're talking about, right?
That
All right,
sounds
yeah,
right.
so like just make it like more personalized and
When
And-
did
Yeah, when did?
Jason
So you're not saying
Swadel-
dates on what dates. Yeah.
when did Jason Swadel deny you parenting time?
You've
Yeah,
made
and I
yourself
wouldn't
the
say
bad guy here,
denied
Jason.
parenting time either.
You have made yourself the bad guy, but you know, take on the responsibility. That's all right.
all right, yeah, we'll definitely make those changes.
Kate, are we assuming that if they violated the parenting time order, that the action that they're in contempt of is allowing you to spend time? Is that
So
what?
I think I was about to I wanted to
Right,
move
yeah.
on from this slide and see what was
Yeah.
next. But yeah, so the contempt form has the option of, like, you know, up top you say what the court ordered, and then at the bottom it's what they did wrong. And one of the options is denied me parenting time.
Yeah,
But I do think there's a lot of frequent parenting time violations that
are not denial.
aren't denial, that would go into the other, you know, the general
The
other has
description.
violated the order.
Yeah.
And actually, you see it a lot for not taking their parenting time.
Right.
Like,
Not taking the kids when they were supposed
right.
to.
They say, I want 50% parenting time so my child support can be lower. And then what do you know? They don't take it. So
Right.
really, or like pick up and drop off is in the wrong place, or, you know, all kinds of things. So I think we need like, are there other parenting time related? Has the defendant
how about
violated?
if we talk about, what if we, on this question, because I think it's all aggregated on the form, but I think for a parenting time order, all of the kind of violations would be on one page. So how did Jason not follow the parenting time order? And you could, you know, I don't know about the court and how friendly they are to giving people examples, but, you know, you can talk about the things that happen. And there are things like the kid's never ready on time when I'm ready to pick him up, or they
Doesn't
weren't
send their
there.
meals.
Yeah, and it's not, people aren't going to see that as denial of parenting time. So
Right.
I think we need a little bit more of a,
Right, and it's like up top, it's the court ordered them to comply with the court-ordered parenting time, but then at the bottom, it kind of assumes it's denial, but and you have to shove everything else into the other section.
yeah. But
Yeah,
But
so
I
I
do
think-
think we should allow here for the other types.
Yeah, we could have a little open text here. And then there may be other open, they may have violated other orders in ways that aren't so prescriptive. And then you pull all the text together and it all goes into that one other.
And this makes me think that we need to be very thoughtful about the space on the actual form. So for fitting those things in.
Yeah.
And then also that makes me go back to the time. I think that's looking at like under number 4 has violated the order on, and then there's a space. So when we're talking about changing the one that we're looking at right now to say when did they do it, we need to make it clear that you don't have an infinite amount of space to say, oh, last Christmas on Tuesday and blah, 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 blah. You've got
This
like
might
this
be
much.
a bit more like the affidavit in that the question would go, you know, when was one of the times that they violated whatever it was. I don't remember what you guys just said. And and then, you know, then describe what happened, and then was there another time, and then what happened.
Except we don't really have a space for an affidavit to do all of that. So that's what I'm trying to.
Well,
and I have seen
addendum,
at least
right?
one court reject addenda on this form.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh,
I don't know
no.
if that's universal, but one finicky court wouldn't take it in one case I know of.
How about if we collect the information and then at the end we say, these are the ways that Jason didn't follow the order. You only have a certain number of, you only have a certain number of words. I don't know if we can do this, but basically it goes into one big input area. This is what you've said, edit it so it fits into this number of words, because they're not going to know.
Well, so I'm just looking at the form on its face, and it's just a checkbox for other with no explanation.
Yeah, no, there's a space for it. That's a space, isn't it?
Well, there's a space underneath it in which you might write something, but there's no line. It doesn't necessarily.
But it says by colon.
Yeah, by colon.
The by, you're looking at that part, okay.
Yeah, that's where you would put the explanation of didn't take
and how they did it.
I think it would be a pretty uncomfortable experience to get to the end and be like, now I have to delete the stuff that I said. Is there a way that we can like have a word count for each section? And
yeah, maybe we could and calculate it so that depending on how many things they checked, that's like the next layer, but depending on how many kinds of contempt they checked, they've got more or less to write about each one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just given our experience with the court as of late, I think we want to do as light a touch as we can.
Yeah.
So I think that let's look at the rest of how the team has addressed this.
Yeah.
But I think that it's probably just going to be a very light touch. We don't want to overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
And just for some context for the rest of the folks on the call who aren't privy to all the stuff that we've been doing, the court has been, I'm mindful of how I'm going to characterize this. They have, they like simplicity. They like simplicity. So if they have a form that just has a space for us to put something, they would prefer for us just to have a space for us to put something. We'll leave it at that for now.
All
right. Then, after this page, it brings up the restraint on personal liberty section, which it's just this one question.
Okay.
And we messaged Kate yesterday about it, and she was just, there isn't like a, I guess, more simple way to
I don't know what I would say. I mean, it's not like.
We might have something. Let me have a look.
You never see these orders.
I'm going to have to jump off.
If we do, the advantage of sticking to the format is, oh, sorry, Maeve, did you want to say something before you go?
Guys, I just wanted to say really good job. This looks fantastic. And as Michelle said, the feedback that you're getting on this is really, really good as well. So hopefully tomorrow with the meeting, we'll be able to clarify some or show you guys about issues, and then we can go from there. But otherwise, this looks really, really good. And I'm sorry that I have to leave early.
Yeah, we'll see you later, Maeve.
Okay, see you soon. Bye.
See you.
So what I was going to say is the advantage of sticking closer to the questions themselves in the form mean we can more easily split up the count of the text so that it's easier to give feedback about how much text they have left. So I will say that if we're doing that, then we have kind of a clearer way of doing it programmatically, of limiting their text programmatically. So that's all, just to take note of.
All right, I didn't fully understand that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If we're putting a text, if we just have a field for every time that the form has a field, and that field only fits, 200 characters in it, then we can go, you've gone over 200 characters. You can't put more than 200 characters. If we're doing our own combining, that becomes more complicated, because then we're going, well, you have 200 characters, but you also have an extra 500 characters if you want, but you can only, that's a total for everything. And so it becomes more complex to express, right?
All right.
So we might.
But this just goes to the checkbox, right? This particular question.
Oh yeah, I just meant in general, the text.
Yeah.
The text.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you were talking about the text and that this was.
Yeah.
Sorry,
text. Yeah.
All right. So yeah. This section is just one yes/no question, and then
yeah, I think you just have to keep it like that. That's the language. Like that would be the language. I don't know how you like.
Are you still talking about personal liberty, or are you talking about health insurance?
Personal liberty, yeah. Keep it as is, I think, unless Caroline comes up with some.
Yeah, I'll see if I can I'll definitely run it by Kate before I suggest anything. But yeah, and you're saying you haven't seen, I'll talk to Jeff about it too, and some of the more, and see if anybody else has it.
That's the language the court would use.
Yes, but the thing is, that doesn't mean, it is the language the court would use, but that it doesn't mean anything to your user necessarily.
Right.
And also, was there originally a complaint for personal liberty, and that's why they're in contempt of it? That sounds a bit odd, doesn't it?
No, it's a checkbox on the divorce complaint that you check.
Yeah. So things like taking the divorce restraining order, not the DV restraining order. But yeah, let's leave it for now, because we'll have to do some research on it and see if we can improve. But I won't suggest anything without running it by Kate.
all right, sounds good. So I figured out, like, we had these were like show it for the health insurance. We could probably just set up this page like we will set up the alimony page, right? Where it's just check boxes like, was the defendant ordered to pay health insurance for the user? Were they ordered to pay for their children?
Yeah. And remember, across the board, I mean, this is a language thing, but on all these questions, did the court order Jason to pay? Right? That's what you want.
All right, cool. And then medical is basically the same thing, so we'll make the same changes that we did to health insurance to medical.
And what I would do here, it's annoying, but I would break up medical expenses as one and dental expenses as another. And they do medical, and dental. Okay.
All right.
For all of these.
Yep, we could definitely do that.
Yeah. So
and then if somebody says yes, that's all going to go in that other box in part 4, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no corresponding box in part 4.
Yeah.
I want to remember about MVP. Sorry, I keep remembering.
Well, that is MVP.
Yeah.
For them to be separate. For them to be separate.
Oh, that's not, but making sure that this gets referenced in part 4 is.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is separating them into separate questions MVP or not? Like, I just want to know what should be focused on.
It's not hard to do. You're just adding extra variables. I think
it's all just more time, and
no, I realize that, but it's confusing for when people look at it. They don't know how to answer it. That's the problem when you do it indoor.
Sure. I think maybe once we make issues, maybe we can go through and prioritize the issues so that we know.
I think that is a good plan.
Good idea.
I like that.
Yeah. Excellent.
And Jason, sorry, I just keep making the list so long.
Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
No worries.
I think we're
Uh,
good.
So then, yeah, the next and final section is the other order stuff. Then, should like we get rid of this question maybe?
Because you've,
Because like they've already like clicked on the checkbox for other. Should we then
this
like
is
this?
the question of, yeah, whether we're gonna do check boxes or repeats. That's a,
Yeah, like you said, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah. I think with other also, even if they didn't check other, that to me, that would be the one. So if we do check boxes, then you do follow-up questions. Just in a case that we don't ask people the question after they've already checked the checkbox or they haven't checked the checkbox, but I do think other would be useful. So even if they don't check other, we can say, you said so-and-so broke this order, this order, this order. And even if they didn't say other, we've gone through everything, we can say, is there any other order that so-and-so, Jason broke? Because other is a little bit more than these specific things. And as you go through them, they might remind you of something.
Yeah, we can set this up to just show up at the end of
Yeah,
all the stuff.
definitely ask. I think you definitely ask this one no matter what.
All right. So then we have it set up so like if you answer yes, you have to fill in the description, and then the subsequent page asks the dates, and maybe we could change that to like when the defendant violated the order, similar to like the parenting time wording.
Mhm.
And then we just have a section on like how.
Yeah. Do you want, Kate, do you think this should be, if you're doing the open text for parenting time, is that the only one you do open text for, parenting time and other?
Health insurance doesn't get its own spot down below.
But I mean, do you want, I mean, parenting time is there's all kinds of parenting time, health insurance premiums. I'm just wondering, are we going to have more than 2 open text questions? Because like we were talking about the frequency in child support and alimony, how you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think parenting time open, other open. I mean,
Yeah, I forgot where I was going with this, because I was thinking if there's actually only 2, then I had an idea, but now I forgot what the idea was. Never mind.
I mean, yeah, maybe health insurance doesn't need to be open text, but it does need to go into the other section.
Oh yeah, but I was
Yeah.
just sort of, yeah. All right, maybe it'll come back to me, not to worry. Well, no. I know what I was going to say. So in the other section, there's a date. And, lawyers always like to do on or about, even if you know the precise date. So you could start your text on or about. You could talk about your open text would be the first one. But then if we're talking about having open text for violating more than one type of order, would you not say, on or about so-and-so didn't show up for when we agreed parenting time. But then when you get to this other order, whatever the other order is, then in the by space, you would add you would add another date and description all as one. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, like list them separately. I think that's good, yeah.
Okay.
Did you understand, Jason? And I mean, did you absorb that?
No, could you like explain that one more time, please?
Or maybe Caroline, you can come up with language and then provide them with that.
Yeah,
language
maybe
later.
we can just talk about it outside, like stuff. I just wanted to check with Kate if that made sense. So she thinks it makes sense. So when I work with you guys on some of the show if stuff, this is one of the things. Just remind me I said we would do this, okay? Because I'll forget.
This particular thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I probably won't forget when we get there, but depending on the time of day, I could.
All right, cool. So then, yeah, the rest is more just like we ask the docket number. We
Oh,
have
that reminds me, Kate, do you have we were going to talk about it was a generic family form, but
I did get asked a question about multiple docket numbers. I forget what it was. And I never answered it.
Yeah, so I think it has to do with, there's only a certain amount of space on the form. What do you do if you have more than one docket number? And also, technically, we discovered that there isn't a way to limit the number of docket numbers we asked for in a question.
I just stack them like one on top of, I thought in some of the other forms, Quentin just had them listed side by side.
So okay, so maybe the thing is, instead of add another, we should just say list all the docket numbers in, just have an open text box for docket numbers. And then have that, but the problem is, if you've got a character limit for that field, what do you do if there are more docket numbers than can actually squish onto the enlarged space on the PDF? Because you definitely don't want an addendum just for docket numbers. I mean, even if it isn't contempt, right? So what do you think we should do about that?
What's happening? Sorry. What are we trying to squish?
Docket numbers into a space on a PDF. This is the thing that you've asked about a couple of times, how we're going to deal with it. And
yeah, because it looks like it could comfortably fit like 3, but you could have more than that. I mean, you're limited only by how many children there are, which could be like 10.
And space on the PDF. So, Kate,
Right.
What would you do if you had 10 docket numbers? You can only fit 3 on the space. Write them down the side.
I mean, if I was doing this form by hand, I would shorten the docket numbers. So I do, ES18D 1234 1235 1236 1237. But I don't know if you can make. So I could.
I see what you're saying.
I could fit a lot more, but I don't know if you can make the computer do that.
Yeah, the code can do that.
Strip off the first characters, yeah.
But it gets complicated. It gets fragile.
It would be. You're thinking of regex,
it's not
right?
impossible.
Michelle?
Yeah.
So how about for MVP?
Yeah.
We have the problem is the autofill. It's just that we just don't allow more than like however many make the font size 8 or something on the PDF and just let people stick as many in as they can and not worry about it. I mean, isn't it a bit unreasonable of the court? I mean, would that work, Kate, if they just didn't get all the docket numbers in there?
They're going to find them.
Yeah. The
cases are probably rubber banded together.
Yeah.
So why don't we impose a character limit? Yell once you get over the character limit and say there's not enough room for that.
And also make it be a text box rather than a list collect.
And also let them know that it will be okay if they don't get all of them in.
Yeah.
So that they don't panic and say, no, then I can't use this, right?
Yeah. And I think it would be good to suggest to them that they separate the docket numbers by commas. Right. So if you have more than one docket number, put as many as will fit in the screen separated by commas. Don't worry if you can't fit them all in.
Yeah.
And then maybe people will figure out stripping off the first characters on their own.
Maybe. It's unlikely, but I mean, because I am not able to kind of identify how I would communicate that clearly to a judge, or like what the important part is, or like how this will be
You
stored.
would have no idea.
So.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the only thing that was different was the very last digit, and then you could put a hyphen through such and such. But you'd have to really have presence of mind to do that and not be terrified of the court, So
yeah,
I think this idea of reassuring the user that it's okay, just do the best you can is a good
Oh,
thing.
yeah, because people don't have the info they need to compress the things. Like Kate can look at that and see that all those zeros are actually leading zeros on something because they come after a middle code.
Mhm.
But other people might not know if they were at the beginning of something because you don't.
Although I did have the recording office make me resubmit an entire request for a recording because of missing a leading zero.
Oh my God.
And they were like, you only have 4, you need 5 zeros. I'm like, so you found it.
And you know what the thing, and you can recognize that is the situation, but you will not do that yourself.
Well, different vocations call different people. You know, we all get power in our own ways.
You know, I mean, yeah. Anyway, sounds good. Okay, good. I think we've discussed that one.
Yeah, so we'll be able to make those changes.
Yeah, great.
All right, so then court, just basic question. Then we ask if they have an attorney. If they select no, it immediately just goes to fill in the date and then tells them to not fill in the BBO if they aren't an attorney.
So
I'm gonna go back.
That would be, are you an attorney? Pro se person shouldn't be adding their attorney to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if you have an attorney, unless they're an LAR, I mean, if they have LAR, would they fill this out? No. If they have LAR, how would this work?
What do you mean?
So if you have LAR, right, would you say you have an attorney?
Not for anything on this form. I don't want any pro se person listing my BBO number on something I haven't drafted.
Right. Okay. So that was my question. So are you an attorney? If you're not an attorney, you don't ask people if they have an attorney, because if they have an attorney, they would not be filling out the form. Okay. Yeah.
I want to step back one moment to the docket number issue. I think if we know how long docket numbers are going to be, if we want to give people the opportunity to shorten them, we can. And then we'll have a text field. If we don't want to deal with that situation, we can decide to ask them, how many docket numbers do you have? You can have a maximum of 4, 3, whatever it is. And, you know, it's okay if you can't list all of them. And then we can ask them that many docket numbers. Because DocAssemble can do that. So
I think they're like 9 to 12 digits. I don't know. Because there's like some things that sometimes get included.
Okay, so well,
theory with the new standardized docket numbers, it should be 10 digits.
10? Yeah, I think so. It's the leading zero.
Except but David, you're saying with the new ones, this is a complaint for contempt. So the order.
I'm just trying to determine the maximum number of digits potentially on a docket number.
Yeah,
so
no, but what
should
I'm
be
saying
10.
is the orders are already going to have, even though there's a new thing,
Yeah, I'm sorry. New still means like new's like got to be like 12 years old by now.
Oh. Okay, sorry. New. Okay,
yeah.
got.
New back when I was new.
I see. Okay, never mind.
But even then, it wasn't that new.
Okay, so what do you think, Kate, of Michelle's?
But sometimes the courts don't write the full 10 digits, so I don't know if that's like people, they often drop the leading zeros.
Yeah, I was trying to get the outer edge.
Okay, that's fine then. Yeah.
So people might not know all their 10 digits.
So in that case, there would be room for more docket numbers, and our arbitrary and our limit wouldn't be helpful. Okay, that's fine then.
I think it would be somewhere between. I'd expect to see somewhere between. Well, I guess in theory, you could have somewhere between 5 and 10 digits.
I think that's
enough
too
for
much.
another docket number. So
yeah, because they'll drop the count. They'll do like 18D 1 2 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that case, let's carry on.
All right. So yeah, we'll change this to are you an attorney?
The other one, I think it's the one before. I think you drop this one and you get rid get rid of, the question before is, are you an attorney? And you get rid of this question, I think.
Oh, we don't have a question that says, are you an attorney? This is,
No, but can you go back a question? The one before this. Oh, wait, where was the one with the?
oh, we have it set up that if you select no, it goes to
Oh, right, gotcha. Okay, all right, yeah, okay, sorry, I had them in the wrong order, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so we'll change this to, are you an attorney? And then, yeah, if you select yes, it's just, we'll change, yeah, this to, we'll, just to make more sense compared to the other language.
And the only complication here is that the name that you're putting in for the signature is presumably, you got to swap that out for the attorney's name. So it's possible if they say they're an attorney and they're not the plaintiff, then you also need to get their name.
If you're an attorney, yeah, it's,
Sorry, what?
So
do we need
if,
to do that question at the beginning that's like, are you representing someone or are you that person? And then answer the questions as if you were that person.
I think so.
well, that could be it, but part of my thing is I'm looking at the form now, and the signature field is if
Yeah.
you're pro se, you sign it with your own name.
Right,
If you're an attorney, you sign it with the attorney's name.
right.
So we just need to, there's a variable, there's a new name that if you are an attorney needs to exist, which is the variable name for the attorney, which otherwise doesn't need to exist, and which would
Yeah.
then need to swap out for the printed name on the signature.
Okay.
And for that matter, if the person has an attorney, you can get rid of that, like, how do they contact you, that, how does the court contact you question can go.
But that's gonna have to get on the cover sheet. So it's
No,
gonna be,
the court would contact the attorney.
I know, but
You
if
mean the attorney?
cover sheet is gonna get made, the question's gonna ask for the contact information. So you're gonna have to set those values equal to like empty strings or something, and then it won't be on the cover sheet. Like
Or the attorney's,
they'll be
would it be
blank
the
things.
attorney's contact information?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
work.
Okay, you will probably still, we can talk about
So
that.
it sounds like we need to move the question for whether or not you're an attorney to the front so that you can then use it to trigger
Ask
or
it.
not trigger
Yeah,
subsequent questions.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Or for MVP, it could just only be available to non-attorneys.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's what I would go for.
Let's do
You
that.
have the question at the beginning that says, are you an attorney? If yes, you can't use this form.
Well, what
That
are you
is-
doing here?
That is appropriate for
Make
MVP.
your own
Go
forms.
use your own form.
That is appropriate for MVP.
Good, that sounds
Go
great.
use
I love
Turbo
that.
Law.
Yeah, right.
Go use a competitor, which is not a competitor with us because we don't actually make money.
Go use someone that your firm pays a lot of money to.
I think, are you your own attorney, right? No, I don't know.
No, that's not
Okay.
what this is getting at. Yeah.
Just any
So
attorney.
we'll just remove all attorney questions.
I mean, are you an attorney for someone else is what I'm trying to say, because if your job is an attorney, but you're filing this for yourself,
They'll figure,
Right.
if they're an attorney,
We-
they'll figure it out.
We also, we
Okay,
have language
all
we
right.
use in other forms that we can use
That's
there
fair.
that address
Okay.
that, which is,
Yeah,
Like,
and
are
I think
you-
the thing is, remember, you're gonna push this to GitHub as is and leave it. So, and then you're gonna go back. So include all the attorney questions for the branch for the future, and then we'll come back to that. And when it's post MVP, figure out if we can make it better for attorneys.
yeah, I think I would have you all make an issue that describes what features exist in this branch that might need to be followed up with, and in the branch that we make for this. And so just note that, that's all.
Oh, this is really, did you guys know complaint for contempt could be so complicated?
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is
all
a lot
those,
of
those
work.
one-page forms.
Well, I think the thing too is it's like
They pack
the
a lot
generic
into this.
motion. It's supposed to cover everything. That's the point. It makes it complicated.
All right.
Today, Wednesday.
So then, if we're getting rid of the attorney stuff, we should just remove the attorney BBO field, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, then we'll just leave it as just what is today's date and rework that.
Now, if it's going to be today's date, should we move that to the beginning?
I think you should keep it at the end, probably because if it's gonna be today's date, then it should be near the end when they're finishing the form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, so that they could start the form one day. I mean, they could still do that, but they'd be more likely to be finishing it on the same day that they would be doing this stuff.
Should this font be so big on this PDF?
I think it's supposed to be size 10 font was the decision. There's a whole spec for it in the PDF flow that I'm not sure everybody got to go through. So I do love big fonts, I will say, but there might not be as much room for stuff.
Well, especially
I
on
like
this
small
form.
fonts.
Yeah,
What'd you say, Kate?
I like small fonts.
yeah.
I like it
actually,
uniform.
so I'm looking at this and I'm seeing kind of different sized fonts, and I'm wondering if all these fields are like single line fields that have a variable, have variable space so they can fit all the words in. Never mind, we can go over it another time. Doesn't matter.
Just some comments of can you open it up?
Yeah.
With the impounded address, you only need to say it once. Like I would just do it above the address field and not have it repeat in the rest.
All right, and just have it blank there.
Yeah.
All right.
It occurs
right,
to me we
Eric.
probably need
Have a good day.
same option as before of impounding the defendant's address as well. That was in the generic motion form. If they don't know the defendant's address because it's impounded or something.
I think that does exist in Mia's,
Yeah.
Mia and Vinny's form.
Would you have address impounded, Kate, not just impounded?
Yeah, you can just do the word impounded. Either one.
All right, so yeah, we'll fix it so yeah, it just says over here, and then we'll put in the code so we could impound the defendant's address as well.
Yeah. And then I think I was kind of starting to say this earlier, but with the health insurance premiums, we check that in box 3. We need, for everything that's in box 3, we need something corresponding in box 4, because it's these are the elements. It's there is an order, and then we need to state the next element of the defendant disobeyed that order. So there's not a automatic box for the health insurance premium, so it needs to go into this bottom where it says just defendant violated order. You need to say the defendant didn't pay the health insurance premiums to state, that element of a contempt.
Also,
and same with medical dental expenses, and restraint on personal, anything that is in box 3 that doesn't have its own place needs to be repeated in box 4.
All right. All right, cool.
And I have to take a call with my coworker.
all right. Thank
But
you, Kate.
if there's any other questions, just Slack me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And we've reached the end, it looks like, just in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, now it's just this signature. Should we go through it, or are we?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
This is basic questions, this download, or is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
I think there's actually supposed to be a line break there between the make changes and the submit to housing. I might be wrong. Maybe.
But this is if this is basic questions, then this isn't their question.
No, for this one, everybody has to make their own form, and the list up there isn't a list, and the paragraph before the PDF needs a new line, and we should just go over some markdown formatting stuff.
Is this in the
Yeah,
carpentry card, Michelle?
Doing markdown? I don't know if it's officially there, but I think people doing finishing carpentry would probably notice, but maybe not. Maybe it should be there for tired people who are doing finishing carpentry work. Yeah.
I just think we should have, you know, if you think your interview's done, go through these steps. And this would be one of them, the way your download page looks.
Well, just that your markdown is correctly formatted to put the right
that's
spaces.
part of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so then just special instructions.
Was this special instructions? Is this basic questions? It is, right?
I believe so, yeah. That it's
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
And then then it just results in the cover sheet, all the info, and then the actual complaint for contempt.
So do you guys have instructions for users or no?
Next steps for users, what they can expect and stuff like that.
Oh, like in the interview?
No,
Oh.
Both in the interview and to be printed for them.
No, we do not.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't done that on a lot of MVPs.
All right.
Okay.
There probably should be something in the language though, and then just like, well, in the general language about, you know, they should contact you sort of stuff.
So I think we're saying that that's something we'll have to get back to you on, right, David?
Yeah, or it may be a non-issue in that we have other MVPs that are out there that, as long as it says, you know, wait to be contacted by, you know, the court should contact you. That may be sufficient in this use case.
So to add to our basic questions.
That should already be part of the generic.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It should already be there. There should be some line in there. It was probably in the previous screen or the one before that, where that was like, after you submit this, you should get a call. I don't know if it says when you send it to court, or if it was before that. Yeah, there it is.
There it is, if you did not hear.
Right. Is that screen not on the tests? I don't know.
No, it should be on the, it's in there, and you have to go all the way through to actually see it.
No, I know. I just, if we're doing the tests properly all the way through, then this screen should not be a surprise to
You're right.
people.
It shouldn't be a surprise to people.
So, so we may need to work on that.
All right.
Adding that to our templates. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's our code so far. And then we'll go back through over the next couple of days and make all the changes that were suggested today.
Yes, and so and to keep in mind, so after you tomorrow learn about making issues, what Michelle had suggested was that we'll go ahead and you'll add all the issues, but we might not decide that all of those issues necessarily are what are needed for MVP. So we'll help you prioritize those and say, work on these, and then you just start working on the most important ones. And then you'll get through whatever you get through in the time that you have available. And if we're lucky, it'll get enough of them to the point that it's at MVP. And if not, someone else will carry it across the line. But I know it's nice to carry it across yourself, so.
Sure. And there are some that you already seem clearer MVP, you can start working on them today. You don't have to wait on that. But yeah, capturing the issues might take enough time today. I don't know. Oh no, that's tomorrow. Sorry.
When are you going? When do you go back to classes?
So I'm on this project through the end of next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. Thank you.
Yes,
it really is. This is a big. What's frustrating is you look at it, it's just like this one-page form.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a lot, and it's a lot of work because it's covering so many things.
Yeah.
But all you got to do is just ask yourself, if you were a random person off the street and you were handed the form or your interview, which would you rather have been handed, given no context of anything else? And I think then you start to realize how really important and useful as it all is.
Yeah, definitely.
Because of course you would pick your form.
Well, you could change it. You could say, well, you could just change it to if a random person was given a choice between the two. And I'm getting requests for an afternoon snack.
All
So,
right. So it might be time to call it.
But good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for all the help today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks,
right.
James.
All the way.
Bye.
Cheers.
See you guys.
See you. Bye.